gonna try. I'm outside doing stuff, but I just had a woman walk by with her 2 kids, and I had found like this big bone, animal bone in the backyard, and I was like, I'm gonna do something with it someday. And they're boys, and girls might be just interested in animal bones. Anyway, I was like, hey, you know, this might seem weird, but if you guys are interested in bones, like, you know, so I showed them, and it's like a coffee or something. Anyway, and she was like, you know, and then she mentioned she was, you know, they just moved back here, and they, I don't know, my right away, like, I think she might have said something about having a rough time of it. I tried making a friend, and I've done this so many times, you know, and I've always kind of been somebody that maybe does things or says things other people don't because of my ADHD, but I hope this one sticks. But you know, but it's overwhelming. People don't understand, you know, or they overwhelm them. But I was like, if you ever need like a babysitter, like, or you know, I make way too much soup. My roommate's like, because it helps me be, when I can be creative and do something like that, my brain makes dopamine, because that's what I'm short on, and then I can get other things done that don't interest me, or anyway. But so then I ended up oversharing, that I overshared, and then I had my own little job, and then I'm waiting on mental health care. And but if you ever just needed somebody to just talk, just complain, like just be sad to or mad to, you know, because I was like, I've lost everything the past couple of years myself, you know, and I have a hard time being around people. So I'm like, I'm really, might seem like I'm this most open person, but you could be coming around the corner. And I did say to her, like, I can come in the corner one day, and I'd be hiding from you, you know, because I'm terrified you're gonna take me up on my offer. But I had a friend in Helena for about a month. I know. Just gonna say that I literally met when I was doing DoorDash, Instacart, whatever. I started joking with her because I could read people even through messages. You know, when I was making substitutions for her at the grocery store, and I started joking around extra, and I think it was me first. It was like, hey, if you want to hang out, she just mentioned she just moved here, or moved to Helena, and we did for like a couple weeks, but it's always been, it's hard for me to bring people, and I don't think she thought I was doing what I needed to do to get better. And I understand that because I've done that to people too, and I didn't realize it. But there's a couple other times when I was door dashing, somebody was really nice to me. I made a friend, Tommy, if you see this, I don't know if you're my Facebook friend anymore. I made a friend in Helena, a gentleman, because he did DoorDash too, and I got an order for him, and we were just chatting, and like, yeah, and I was like, you know, if you ever need, and I was like, I don't expect to hear from you. I would text them from the DoorDash number first, but if you wanted to hang out or anything, you know, I don't know anybody here. We did once, but then I had to move. But I mean, it's hard, you know. I've always been a little bit extra. Anyway, I hope she takes, but I wish, you know, my brain's telling me, like, while I'm talking to her, I'm like, Kristen, you don't have to, like, do the whole thing at once. Like, well, I want, like, you come for dinner. I mean, just say, like, hey, if you ever need, if you want, like, just try to make a friend. Say, like, oh, I don't really know anybody here, if you ever want to hang out, or if you see me, you know, I was like, if you see me on the porch smoking, just come say hi. And that might be, but then I keep going, you know, like, I cook too much, and food, and like, you guys want to see the backyard because you guys could have a campfire here, we got extra wood to burn because I'm fixing the house, like, you know, I don't even have to be there. Like, it's just, people are like, why is she doing this? You know, and sometimes we found the right people, but it just didn't work out. You know, she might be somebody who understands. I said I've had some rough times, and, you know, sometimes you just want to be honest with somebody and not have them try to help. Or just know that someone else understands, maybe because they know other people haven't understood their struggle, because we're all human. But anyway, I don't want to, why I wanted to tell people about this, but because I want people to know it's all so complicated, you know, but it's all just interconnected, you know. I'm gonna say one thing. I found out, like, when I was in grade school, you know, I was the quietest kid. My report card was, she's nice and quiet. She's always got a book. Teachers loved me because I didn't even like talk with other kids after. I would just like, I would, you know, and people who know me, you know, like, that's not, I'm kind of obnoxious. Like, I don't stop talking. I interrupt people. I'm loud. I mean, I say, like, I overshare. I say things out of turn, you know, and I was always quiet, and she's such a good girl. She's quiet and always has a book, and like, and I saw a video from somebody on an ADHD channel on YouTube, and she's like, she had a counselor that pointed out to her, like, she's like, I've never been the quiet one, but I was. I hardly ever had any friends. Like at grade school, I hardly had any friends. I had one friend a year, junior high. I had people that, anyway, remembered me more than I remembered them, and I don't understand why. But I guess that's my trauma shit. But what was I trying to say? I learned that I was gonna get made fun of because I talked so fast, or that I got excited about things that weren't maybe that exciting, or that I felt things deeper, or just that I wasn't like everybody else. So I learned to just be quiet. And I loved reading, but it became like a shield. And I really, because literally, if anyone's ever worked with me, maybe before him, like I am, I'm obnoxious. I like who I am, but I mean, also like, not everyone's cup of tea. And for me, my whole like childhood to be like so quiet. Anyway, I just didn't, realize why I didn't maybe have as many friends, or maybe it was hard for me to be, I don't know everything, but yeah, I do actually. I'm pretty good at this. I mean, I know a lot of things that happened, and most of it was nobody's fault, but I don't think I ever have been wrong about myself, which isn't actually fun. Anyway, I just want people to know that, because I know that people internalize. Human beings internalize things like this. Like if somebody has mental health issues, or even sometimes like like chronic illness that's maybe not like something as bad as cancer, like fibromyalgia, or they're not. It's maybe not like, it's still kind of not believe that it's a full whatever the hell they don't. Things don't get better for them, and I keep bringing this up. And there's an article I read about how people subconsciously just have to internalize that person's not doing what they need to do to get better, or they must not want to get better or have things better. They must be sabotaging everything, or choosing to be unhappy or poor or whatever, because people have a subconscious need to believe that, because otherwise, like, something could happen to them too for no reason. Like bad things could keep happening, or they could have a mental health break, and we can't think. Our brains don't let us, And I know that social media isn't really kind of people it's not made for people who have bad things that keep happening and want to talk about them. And I know it seems strange, like why wouldn't I talk to one person about it? Because, instead of telling 300, because for some of us maybe it's easier to tell 300 people, and if you don't hear from anyone, you can just assume that somebody got you. But if you're sitting across from somebody, I can't see myself, that's good, and you're asking for help, or you're asking to be heard, or you're trying to communicate and it doesn't work, it's heartbreaking. That's my theory, at least. And that maybe you never learned to talk about shit, or ask for help, or like bother anyone with your stuff. I don't think that's what I meant to start talking about, but I hope I can make a friend. I've had a couple times I've tried volunteering, and I contact people. There's a theater here, somebody bought it and using it as a nonprofit, and I was like, I could help you guys get some food thing going. I probably would be amazing at that, but I messaged him, and he was a wonderful person, but I don't know if he found out from us, like, that I haven't been able to do a job here, or he was busy. But I told my friend Dave, I'm like, I don't think I could be okay enough around anybody right now to actually do anything that I want to do with that. But I'm gonna try. Same gentleman runs a sober house. He started the first male one here, and then there's one for women. And the thing is, I'm not particularly sober anymore. Once in a while I drink because I have to. So that makes it complicated, but I wanted to message him and see if I could maybe have a class once a week, or show wants to learn how to cook different things, or for the women in the sober house, or learn a job skill, or even just for Thanksgiving, I know there's got to be another community dinner. And I was like, right before that woman came, I was thinking, so I need to make myself do that, but I just don't know if I'm functioning, when it comes, I can't promise anything, and so maybe I shouldn't, but I was literally thinking, like, I wonder how I could do some kind of, like, I get in the news, like, have like a Thanksgiving dinner at my house. It was okay with my landlord, my roommate, like, where people that don't have anywhere else to could go, but we're scared to go to a shelter or a church or a charity dinner, because I've got a whole list of things I've been given by social. I've got a list of the churches where they have financial assistance, rent assistance, and food assistance, and I could have used it many times, but like, if someone has a problem asking for help from immediate family, even, and you're supposed to walk into a church just blind and just be like, I need help, when you can't even get out of bed in the morning and leave the house without having a panic attack. How many times would that know? But I mean, I know I would do better if I had a chance to help people, but I've had, you know, I tried to for the food co-op that they want to open, and it was excruciating when I was at the farmer's market. It was like, people thought I was, because I was so hyper paranoid hypersensitive about talking too fast, that I was off on a roll. And the person from the food shelter, I think I was trying to volunteer and help them out for free, you know, like, she was all agreeable at the thing, but then when I called, she didn't answer me. And I'm like, you know, in my whole life I've heard that I'm on drugs, or that it's been a joke, right? So I get it, but I also have a problem with over-explaining myself and not being able to just stop oversharing, and it's gotten so much worse. So if I think anyone possibly could maybe think I'm even doing anything wrong, or that I'm talking too fast, it's like my brain goes, you're gonna talk faster than you ever have, or you're gonna, yeah. If they think you're like on drugs because of how you're like pressured speaking. I learned that's what that is, by the way. I had a couple of my visits after the doctor, I would check my charts, and it said I had pressured speaking, which is like super fast, and sometimes, a lot of times, you can't understand it. And I'm like, I want to post that on Facebook so I can validate myself, because like, I'm not like, you know, and I worry that lady thinks I'm not like that, you know, and I had to bring it up to him, like, people think I'm on drugs, like, but I've always kind of been like that, you know. I think I had a realization a couple years ago, like, I would never had any of the jobs I had in Bismarck, not any management jobs, if people hadn't known that I would have my work ethic, and like, that I was good at what I did, because I overshared every single one of them, and it was terrible. The governor's residence, well, luckily my dad had died a week before, so the fact that it was just not right, and oversharing, and just like, well, of course, but I wonder if I would have gotten it otherwise. Anyway, just some thoughts. You know, I don't have to justify myself to other people, but also, you know, when you lose people because they get quiet on you, you wonder why they did, and you're not any better at it, but like, you know, you make assumptions, and I think a lot of people thought I was, you know, the thing is too, is if I had been drinking and not doing drugs this whole time, it shouldn't have mattered, but it does. I gotta get inside of my nose, and like, it's craft paint, by the way, if anyone's concerned. My roommate had a wine bottle, and I'm painting it so I can put dried flowers in it, because I have enough clear ones. You can't even see it. I'm like talking now. Let me stop talking to myself right now, because now I'm getting distracted. I was getting things done for once. And I just sort of know, like, I'm in between healthcare providers, so I'm not getting my Adderall and my Klonopin, and it's really hard. They're short-staffed again. The place I had an assessment last year, but I made myself call the clinic I was going to. The one didn't have enough services, and the one that got me back there again, because they had to advocate for me to get an assessment again, and they called the shelter this week again, and said, like, there's something happening, and then but it's gonna be like a week before I can get meds. So they're making me an emergency meds appointment, but, well, it's really shitty. But I had a chance to be outside and do some, like, stuff in the kitchen, and then my dopamine gets up, make creative stuff, and then I try to get other things done, but then I just had that thing moment with that lady and her kids, and then I decided to make a video about it, and I hope that I can get going again. Because I've been trying to make my place, wherever I've been living, a home, and like, nice and not a mess, and just make it feel like it should, since I moved to Montana, and I'm so close today. I know that that's not gonna fix everything, but a place where I feel safe, and there's never been a reason for me not to in this house, but whatever, I'm over explaining again. I probably shouldn't post this, but I'm going to. I'm not gonna let myself watch it like the other ones though, because if I've done that, I'm just like horrified. Like I'm not making sense, I'm talking too much. Yeah, look at like my face movement, my facial tics from my meds. The fact that I obviously need to blow my nose, and then I'm covered in paint. I hope there's not on my face. Anyway, and that I can't just ever stop talking.